Hi everyone, this is my Ignite conference presentation for formative assessment. So first of all, what comes to mind when you think of assessment? I always think of the PSSAs and the Keystones and those formal tests, standardized tests that our students have to take. And I think that's what a lot of us think of when we think of formative assessment. And it's actually just a collection of evidence from our students. Either our students are collecting it or we are. And these are just a few ways that we can actually collect that evidence, or the students could collect that evidence. So the first strategy of where am I going is to make sure that we provide a clear learning target for our students. Put it in language that they're going to understand. Put it in words that are going to make sense to them so that they know what we're looking for. The second strategy is using examples and models of strong and weak work so that they kind of know also what we're looking for. What is a good example? What is a poor example? So that they can kind of gauge what they need to do and what their work needs to look like. The third strategy is to offer them regular feedback rather than saying like, hey, that was great, or you could probably do a little bit better. Give them something that's descriptive. Tell them why. Why could they do a little bit better? What did they miss? Did you miss part of it? The fourth strategy is to teach students to self-assess and set goals. So where are they at now? How have they learned? What are they learning? What do they still need to learn? What are their next steps, or what do they need to work towards? Strategy 5 is using evidence to determine what they need to do next. So each student is going to be at a different step, and then their specific evidence is going to lead them in that correct direction. So we need to help them determine what that evidence is. Strategy 6 is giving them practice with feedback. So just like this rabbit in the cartoon is jumping up and their visual feedback is on the tree, their ultimate goal is to be able to jump up high. Strategy 7 is providing opportunities for the students to track what they're learning, reflect on what they're learning to see how far they've gotten, what progress have they made, and then share it. Ultimately, that gives them a lot of motivation. So strategy 4 is one I want to kind of focus on that stood out to me, which is self-assessment and goal setting. And I like that picture because it does begin with the student. It does begin with whoever is doing the self-assessment. And one thing that kind of hit home with me is, as I was reading through like the feedback loop, it's something that we were taught. We plan, we teach, and we assess and grade. But students don't always work that way. They need the feedback. They need to be told, okay, this is how we get to what our intended learning target is. And so if we don't tell them what the intended learning target is, then they don't know what to reach for. They don't know if they are making progress at all and what progress they've actually made and how they can actually get to that target. One thing when students are self-assessing to see if they've gotten to the target is to make sure that like they are okay with giving accurate judgments. They don't feel too proud for saying that they're actually doing a good job, because it's good if they do say that they're doing a good job. A couple ideas that a lot of people have already used is KWL charts and then exit tickets, and it gives them a visual representation of where are they at, what have they actually learned, what do they need to learn, or what questions do they have. Self-assessment with rubrics is really good too, making sure that rubrics are in language that they understand and actually how they use the rubric. My students now, they're so used to using them, they always ask, all right, where's the rubric? What do I need to do? What are you grading me on? And then ultimately helping our students to set goals. What is their aim of action? What are they trying to attain? Where are they trying to go? And what is their actual goal for themselves? And the best way to set a goal is to set a SMART goal. So something that's very specific, something that is going to be measurable, something that is achievable and realistic for them, and something that they can do in, within the year, within a marking period. Because a goal without a plan is just a wish. It's just floating out there, and there's really no idea of how they're going to get there. And so we kind of need to help them get that plan intact. What are they going to do? How are they going to practice? How often are they going to practice? So the reason that there's so many strategies is because teachers always have to have a bag of tricks, whether it's for assessments or whether it's just for teaching in general. There's so many students with so many different needs, and so we have to have all of those strategies so that we can reach out to every single student and help them to be successful. Thanks.